Hey, Johnny, did you catch last night's Champions League match? I still can't believe the final score. Manchester 2, Real Madrid 3.
Hey, Ridley. I did. It was one of those games where you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. Real Madrid's comeback in the final minutes was something else.
Absolutely. I mean, Manchester started off strong, and I was really hopeful they'd hold on. But Real Madrid just kept pressing until they found that winning goal. What did you think of the overall tactics?
Well, from what I saw, Manchester had a very aggressive start. Their pressing in the first half was impressive, and they created some good chances. But Real Madrid's experience and tactical adjustments in the second half turned the tide. Their ability to control the tempo in the midfield was key.
Right. I noticed that Manchester's defense started to falter in the second half. Do you think it was fatigue or just tactical exploitation by Madrid?
I'd say it was a bit of both. The pace Manchester set early on took its toll. Meanwhile, Real Madrid made some smart substitutions that brought in fresh legs, and their midfield started dictating play. Their counterattacks were lethal.
Exactly. And speaking of substitutions, that mid-game change by Madrid really changed the dynamics. It's interesting how a well-timed substitution can make such a huge difference in a high-stakes match.
Totally agree. It reminds me of how important bench strength is at this level. Also, the way their coach managed the game showed years of experience. He clearly knew when to shift strategies.
Yeah, the coaching definitely stood out. And the performance of their forwards. Each goal seemed to come from a different tactic. What do you think about the individual performances?
Well, one of Real Madrid's strikers was simply unstoppable in the final minutes. His positioning and finishing were spot on. On Manchester's side, their goalkeeper had a few brilliant saves, but was ultimately overwhelmed by the pressure.
I was impressed by Manchester's attacking play in the first half, though. Their transitions were quick, and they looked dangerous on the counter. But somehow, they couldn't maintain that momentum.
Exactly. It seemed like they couldn't sustain the pressure as the game progressed. Plus, the referee's decisions might have played a role. There were a few calls that Manchester fans weren't too happy about.
Oh, definitely. I felt there was at least one questionable penalty decision that really tilted the balance. That moment sparked a huge reaction in the stadium.
I remember that too. It's one of those moments where you feel like the game could have swung either way. Speaking of the stadium, the atmosphere was incredible. The fans were so passionate. Every cheer and groan added to the drama of the match.
Yes, the energy in the stadium was electric. It's amazing how much the crowd can influence the game. Even from home, watching the reaction on TV, you could almost feel it.
It really makes you appreciate the role of fan support. Also, I think this match highlighted the evolving nature of football tactics, especially how teams adjust mid-game. It's not just about starting strong, but adapting to the opponent's strategy.
True. And now that the season is progressing, I wonder how this result will affect both teams' momentum. Real Madrid's win might give them a psychological edge in upcoming fixtures.
That's a good point. On the flip side, Manchester will need to reassess and work on their stamina and defensive organization if they're to bounce back in the next game.
Do you think Manchester can recover? They've had some brilliant performances before, but this game exposed some weak spots.
I believe they can, but it will require some changes. Perhaps a tweak in their training regimen to build better endurance, and maybe a new tactical approach for tighter matches. They have the talent, but consistency is key at this level.
Absolutely. And what about the marketing aspect? I mean, from a digital marketing perspective, a match like this generates massive online engagement. Social media is buzzing about it, and it's a goldmine for content creators.
No doubt. The reactions, highlights, and fan interviews provide endless material for digital marketing campaigns. It's a perfect case study on how critical moments in sports can drive online engagement and brand partnerships.
Right. And platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are filled with creative edits, reaction videos, and analyses that keep the conversation going long after the final whistle.
Exactly. And let's not forget the role of influencers and sports analysts who break down these games. Their insights help shape public opinion and add to the digital narrative surrounding the match.
It's fascinating how the dynamics of a single match can ripple through digital media and influence marketing strategies. The blend of live sports, fan engagement, and digital content creation has completely changed the way we experience football.
Definitely. And as video editing techniques become more advanced, we're seeing even more creative content that highlights key moments, player performances, and strategic decisions from the match.
Speaking of video editing, I've noticed that some editors are using slow-motion replays and dramatic music overlays to emphasize the tension during crucial plays. It really elevates the viewing experience.
Yes, and the use of AI in video editing is making it easier to create these high-impact moments quickly. That's a huge plus for digital marketers who want to capitalize on real-time events.
I agree. It seems that technology is continuously evolving, and video editors are at the forefront of adapting these tools for sports analysis and digital marketing.
Exactly, and this match is a great example of how advanced editing can bring out the nuances of the game, like the build-up to that final goal and the subtle shifts in momentum that weren't as obvious in the live broadcast.
Absolutely. Overall, while Real Madrid's win was a tough pill for Manchester fans to swallow, it's also provided a rich source of content for analysis, discussion, and digital engagement.
True, I'm curious to see how both teams adjust their strategies in the upcoming matches. And from a fan's perspective, these are the moments that make the Champions League so exciting.
I couldn't agree more. It's all part of the drama and unpredictability of the game. There's always something new to learn and enjoy.
So, what's your take on the key takeaway from this match? For me, it's all about the importance of tactical flexibility. Being able to adapt mid-game is crucial.
That's definitely a big takeaway. Also, the match underscored the role of mental and physical endurance in high-stakes games. Teams that can maintain intensity over the full 90 minutes have a significant edge.
Exactly, and for digital marketers and content creators, it's a reminder of how powerful storytelling is, even in sports. The narrative of the game, the triumphs, and the heartbreaks all add to the overall experience.
I'm already planning to follow up with some detailed analysis videos and social media posts. There's so much material to work with from this match.
Sounds like a plan. I'm definitely going to share my thoughts on my social channels as well. It's a match that's bound to spark a lot of conversation and debate among fans.
Well, it looks like we've covered a lot of ground. It's been great discussing the match and its wider implications with you, Jonty.
Likewise, Ridley. These conversations really help in understanding not just the game, but also how technology and marketing interplay in the modern sports landscape.
Absolutely. Here's hoping our teams come back stronger next match. Until then, let's keep the discussion going online and share our analyses with the community.
For sure. Thanks for the chat, Ridley. Always great to exchange ideas with a fellow fan.
Anytime, Jonty. See you at the next game.